All right, whistleblowers are yet again at the forefront of American news, this time in regard to President Trump's phone call with his Ukrainian counterpart. President Trump now likening the whistleblower and their leaker to spies and calls their acts treasonous. But are they really? Here in the U.S., there are actual processes and laws that are meant to protect these people. So for more on that, let's turn to investigative journalist Ben Swann. Hey there, Ben. So the whistleblower who has set off this impeachment inquiry is said to now be under federal protection, fearing for their life. Talk a bit about the dangers of blowing the whistle for us, and if these concerns or fears for one's life are valid, are they legitimate?
So I'm not sure that the fear for their life is valid. I think it fits into the narrative that's being pushed. Look, we have a history of whistleblowing in this country. It is an important history. Anyone who knows my work knows I am a fan of whistleblowers. I believe in whistleblowing. I think we should overblow the whistle rather than underblow it. All for that. Having said that, I think you have to look at how in the past media and politicians have responded to whistleblowing. Let's be honest about this, Manila, because the reality is that even though right now those in Congress are acting like, oh my gosh, we have a whistleblower who finally had the courage to come forward. We have someone who's willing to speak about what's happening. We must protect them at all costs. Those same members of Congress, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, those same members of Congress, many of them on the Intelligence Committee, were in office when Thomas Drake blew the whistle on the NSA, a true whistleblower. When John Kiriakou blew the whistle on the CIA, a true whistleblower, and did nothing to stand up to the government when it pursued both of them. The only two people with NSA spying who has ever been charged with NSA spying is Thomas Drake, the whistleblower, not the person who was spying, the person who blew the whistle. John Kiriakou, the same thing. The only person charged with torture by the CIA was John Kiriakou for telling people about torture by the CIA. So I believe in whistleblowing, but I also see there's a narrative here, and it's fitting to the narrative to say this person is this exceptional person who's an exception to the case, when we have whistleblowers who have blown the whistle on some of the most important stories of our lifetimes, who were not protected by the media or by politicians. John Kiriakou spent 2 years in prison. Thomas Drake took a plea deal, but he had his life turned upside down by the Justice Department. Right, and on that note, Ben, you've already mentioned those two. What about Chelsea Manning or Julian Assange? Compare and contrast that for us. Well, Julian Assange obviously is not a whistleblower, right? He's a journalist, and there's a difference here because in order to be a whistleblower, you have to be someone who's on the inside, who has firsthand knowledge of what's going on, and then you reveal it. Assange does not qualify as a whistleblower. He does qualify as a journalist to whom whistleblowers have provided information, and yet he's charged under the Espionage Act. By the way, Chelsea Manning also charged under the Espionage Act. Thomas Drake charged under the Espionage Act. John Kiriakou charged under the Espionage Act. Daniel Ellsberg, who released the Pentagon Papers, charged under the Espionage Act. These cases, Manila, are so vital to understanding what our government has done in the past. And then to turn around and to see in our current situation, you have a whistleblower who actually isn't even truly a whistleblower because under the rules that this intelligence community has set up until a month ago, you had to have firsthand knowledge of what was happening. This person did not have firsthand knowledge. And then a month ago, mysteriously, the intelligence community changes the rules for what constitutes whistleblowing in order to have your urgent concern taken. Let's pull up those forms of the before and after. Like you said, the big change that Congress quietly passed was, like you said, about a month ago, that the whistleblower had direct affiliation to whatever it was they were reporting on. And in this case with President Trump, the CIA officer who blew the whistle apparently leaked that information. So Ben, how are intelligence whistleblowers, how are their complaints addressed? Are they protected then by this new Protection Act? Well, the idea behind it, and it's not a new Protection Act, let's be clear. It is a simple change of language that basically says all you had to do was hear about something and it goes straight to Congress. I'm actually okay with it going straight to Congress, but you realize this, Manila, and this is what the audience needs to understand. After Thomas Drake, the NSA contractor who came forward and spoke about this, Congress changed the rules. It used to be that as a NSA contractor, as a government employee in the intelligence community, if you saw wrongdoing, you could go straight to Congress. In 2010, the rules were changed, and a political appointee called the Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, was put into place in order to essentially put a political appointee between Congress and that whistleblower, meaning you could no longer go straight to Congress. You got to go to the DNI first.
Yeah.
Okay, that was what was done in response to Thomas Drake. Now, suddenly, quietly, they change the rules and say, forget about having to go to the DNI. If you have firsthand knowledge, or go straight to Congress if you have firsthand knowledge, you don't even have to have firsthand knowledge. Read the whistleblower complaint. None of it's firsthand knowledge. The only reason that I'm passionate about this, look, I'm not a Trump guy. You know that.
Yes.
I'm not fighting on behalf of Trump by any means. But there is this whole story reeks of what people would call the deep state, right?
Yeah.
It reeks of deep state actions. John Kiriakou, and I keep mentioning their names. Can I just throw in a plug here? I have a podcast coming out tomorrow, my podcast, Truth in Media. We're interviewing John Kiriakou and Thomas Drake in depth about this. Both of them are telling their stories, and they're talking about this. And so that's why I'm so familiar with their situations. But Thomas Drake talks about the fact that when he was in this position and being prosecuted, that the NSA was gleefully chasing after him. The Obama Justice Department was saying they were going to destroy him and make sure that nobody ever followed in his footsteps. John Kiriakou talks about the fact that General Petraeus, at the time that he was running the CIA, on the day that John Kiriakou was sentenced to 2 years in prison, sent out a CIA-wide email saying this was a great day. The CIA and the NSA have done everything in their power to destroy the lives of people who have revealed deep state programs. And now suddenly that group are the ones behind this whistleblower and behind this leak, when in the past they've tried to destroy the lives of people who have done it. The whole thing just stinks to me, and I think it needs to be looked into much, much deeper.
Yeah, I am looking forward to hearing what they have to say. And John Kiriakou, of course, a friend of the show. So we are going to hear more about this, I'm sure. Ben Swann, as always, appreciate your take on this. Thank you.
Manila, thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.